Hello and welcome back to Goswick Lane. We have a guest with us today. This is Mattison. Don't say Mattison, it's Mattison with two T's.
Is that how people pronounce it?
No,
How do you prefer it to be pronounced?
just Mattison.
Okay,
Say
well,
it
I
normal.
said Mattison, and Chen was like, it's Mattison.
Because you used to get on to me for how I said somebody's name.
Lauren. You would say Lauren.
No, it was Lauren. No, it was something else. I can't remember.
Okay.
Texas.
It's East Texas. It's the slang.
Who was it?
It doesn't matter.
I'm going to get stuck on that.
You will.
It's going to beat around in my head and whatever.
We'll come back to that in 40
So-
minutes.
We'll circle back.
Mattison is just bought her first property to short-term rental. And Mattison called Courtney the other day, or me, or texted one of us, and said, "Hey guys, can I ask y'all some questions? Can we go to lunch?" And I told Courtney, I said, "We're gonna make her be on the show because this being your first property, you got a lot of good questions that
Yeah.
maybe we thought about in the beginning, but don't think about anymore." So for our listeners out there, if you're starting a property, this will be really good. Really good content for you. So the normal way when you have a guest is that you ask them a bunch of questions.
Okay.
It's going to be backwards today.
Okay.
We're going to let Mattison, from the perspective of a new short-term rental person, ask us questions.
Okay.
First of all, Mattison, a little bit about you.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm Bryan College Station.
Okay.
Whoop.
And then I moved here and doing real estate full
Okay.
time.
Okay. That's awesome.
So Madison works with a good buddy of ours,
Yeah.
Jinty Patel,
Yeah.
who's the main go-to real estate guy here in East Texas. We use
For
him
us,
for
we feel that way for sure.
Well, for us, yeah, for sure, because he's
I
hooking
mean,
us up
everywhere
on
you
deals.
look, you see his face.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
He's got his face
Everywhere.
plastered everywhere.
He's got marketing down for sure.
He does. He's great at what he does.
Yeah, I would agree.
And so, why did you come to work for Jinty?
Good question.
To learn. I mean, he
Okay.
is the big dog over here, and he has lots of experience and knows lots of people, and you can't go wrong.
Right.
There's
That's
nothing you can't learn on a day with him.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
true.
He's all over the place
Yeah.
in a good way, and Madison helps rein some of that in.
It's true. That's very
Um,
true.
I try.
But if you need a realtor, call Madison, call Jinty.
Yeah, because
those
you're
guys.
doing your stuff on your own too.
Mhm. I
Yep.
am.
So
We'll
they work together,
Link
and
her info in the bio.
yeah, we'll put you in the description
Yeah.
so you can click on Ramsey Realty and find these guys.
Yep.
So back to you've been buying and you've been selling real estate with
Mhm.
Jinty. What made you want to get into short-term rentals, Airbnb?
Something long term, something that
Okay.
can reproduce and make money back.
Why are you deciding to go the short-term rental instead of the long-term rental?
It's more exciting to me, just
Okay.
the turnover, and you're not dealing with the same person. You get to meet some people, but just the market of that seems to be better right now than than long term,
Okay. I think
especially in that area where I
so.
bought.
You just bought a house in where?
The Azalea District in Tyler.
In Tyler. So Tyler's about 45 minutes from Longview. The
Mhm.
Azalea District that she's talking about is an older community
Yes.
district that's just
Gorgeous homes though.
absolutely
brick
gorgeous.
roads.
Yes. Oh, my
Mature
word.
trees,
Yep.
live oaks.
Yes.
Sidewalks.
Oh, I'm getting
lots of
chills
stuff.
thinking about
I
that. I love,
know.
like,
Me
hey,
too.
listen, we may follow you over there and buy one
Yes.
like
Come
right
on.
beside
Do
you.
you
Come
have
on.
a neighbor that's willing to sell?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, have you had to do any rehab to the house, or is it
I
ready
will.
to go?
I will
Okay.
have to. I closed in about a month,
Okay.
and so then I'll be able to do whatever. I haven't inspected though. The bones are great.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
it's solid.
So what year would you say it currently sits? Like decor aesthetics wise?
It was born in 1924.
Okay.
Oh, I like that
Ooh.
term, born in
Yeah, I do
1924.
too.
That's
I do
awesome.
too.
So is it's pier and beam,
Mhm.
probably, right?
Ooh,
Okay.
nice. Okay.
Foundation? How's the foundation?
Golden. It's
Okay.
so good.
All right. That's
I
awesome
guess
because that could be your biggest expense.
Yes. Right now it's just looking like a roof.
Okay.
Patches even.
Okay.
It's not even. That's my biggest.
Nice.
I'm definitely gonna. I mean, the floors.
Okay.
I have original hardwood floors.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But then
That's
in
a
the
good.
kitchen, it's green.
So are you going to sand those down and refinish them, or
I
are
don't
they
think
good right
they're
now?
good right now.
Oh,
Wow.
sweet.
Okay.
Yes.
That just saved you what,
Yes.
5?
I mean, it's like $4 to $6 a square foot
Yeah.
for sanding and refinishing. So a lot of what Courtney and I do, and what my brother and I do on all of our most of the properties that we've done so far is rehab to rental.
Yes.
So we've walked through that process too. But Jinty also has a lot of good connections
Yeah,
on
he
the
does.
rehabbing stuff. So
Yeah.
See, here's a good question to start off.
Okay.
How far do you go on the rehab before you start renting?
Good question. I'm going to let Courtney answer that one because
Yep.
it's a little bit more personal for her.
Yeah. So I would say the number one thing is remove your emotions out of it because it's real easy to find that property, fall in love because it's in the Azalea district and be like, oh my gosh, I want it to be everything that I would want to walk into every day. But you have to find the line of what I would want and what guests want because they can be very different. Also, the dollar amount can be very different. And so find something that, for us, what's worked for us is creating an experience. So like when a guest comes in, we want them to be like, oh, this feels so comfortable. This is so cozy. I could see myself just really relaxing here because that's ultimately what's going to get you the 5 stars.
Okay, so when you walk into a property, when a guest walks into a property, they're going to be more impressed by a bottle of wine that you left for them than crown molding.
Yes.
That's true. That's a very valid point.
So
absolutely,
you have to think about every detail in your loan. So you're buying this with bank money, right? You have to put a certain amount down. How much tell me a little bit about the loan. You don't have to give me the numbers, but like what percentage are you putting down? Are you getting rehab money inside of your loan? How's that going to work?
I'm doing 5% down.
Okay.
Conventional, but
okay, awesome.
A little extra money on it. Yes.
Okay. So the bank is giving you some extra money. Okay. So this is an interesting point when you go to buy a house to rehab. Banks will finance your rehab if you have the equity in that. And what's cool about what you're doing is there's 2 different products out there for loans. One is commercial and one is conventional. And so you're doing it basically under your personal name.
Yes.
So that you can get into this house for 5%.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff that we do is commercial, so we're putting 15 to 20% down. Now there are ways if you are doing a lot of the rehab yourself, you have sweat equity, you can get more money. That's more advanced techniques. We'll talk about that at some point. But being able to get into a property for 5%, let's just say, okay, let's say a house is
first.
Yes. Let's say the house costs $200,000. I don't know what it is, but let's just say the $200,000. 5% of that is what, 10 grand, right? So you're talking about getting into a house, a $200,000 house or a $300,000 house for 10 or 15 grand is crazy awesome. And you can cash flow that because the Airbnb numbers will work. Now your note's going to be a little bit higher because you're borrowing more money. So you probably are going to need to hit that 50% occupancy rate or so to break even. We have if you'll go on YouTube, you might be on YouTube right now watching this. There's a guy named Rob Built, and he has a calculator, Excel file that you can download. Just look for his STR projection or STR rental numbers. I can't remember what the video is called, but you can plug in your numbers of what you're paying for the house, what you're putting down, what your monthly bills are going to be, and calculate, okay, based on this price and this occupancy, where am I going to break even at? What am I shooting for? Because first thing you don't want to do when you get it up and running is lose money.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. All right. Next question. Did we answer? Oh, the rehab.
So let's get into where I purchase things. I do.
Oh, sorry. You don't want to spend more money than you have, or more money. You don't want to outspend the house when it comes to rehabbing. So make sure that your numbers work out. You can do the little things over time. All right. Where do you buy stuff? Sorry, babe.
That's fine. So you can decorate a house, make it look like it came out of Crate and Barrel or Pottery Barn or Restoration Hardware, whatever your style is, on a very like a tight budget. You just have to be open-minded. So you can't go in saying this is exactly what I want the room to look like. You have to let the deals let you know what it's going to look like. And so for me, there's a store called Dirt Cheap, and they have one in Tyler, lucky for you. And they buy overstock or returns from Walmart, Target, online stores. And basically you go in there and you have to have patience. So if you're not one of those that's going to sift through things, it might not be your store. But we have gotten incredible deals on like really nice furniture. I'm saying like Magnolia Hearth and Hand, like $20 entertainment centers. So like you have to be open to those things. But that's really where you're going to save to create the environment of the room that you're wanting to create, but also make sure that it's pocketbook friendly for sure.
All right,
For
off
sure.
top of your head, name
Okay.
where you're getting this stuff from.
Okay, so linens, and I'm going to start off with this. Your stuff's going to get messed up. It's going to get ruined. So keep that in mind whenever you're purchasing things. We go with white linens as far as pillowcases, and sheets, and towels. They're easy to replace and they're easy to bleach. I stick with, as far as bedding goes, quiltlets. Something that can be thrown in the washing machine and dryer in 4 hours, because
Do not get a comforter.
don't buy a comforter. Nothing with down. Because you, like for us, our checkout is at 10 a.m. and we have check-in at 3. So you've got 4 hours. Is it 4 hours? 5 hours. Sorry. Math is not my strong suit. 5 hours to basically go in and flip a house, because you don't know what you're walking into. You may walk into a disaster where there is
Stuff everywhere.
everywhere. Yes. So rule of thumb for us is 3 sets of linens for every bed.
Just switch them.
So you have one that's on the bed, then you have a spare that's in the bedroom. We put it in the closet for the guests. If they have a or something happens, they can have a spare set there. And then we have the third set is in the cleaning closet, and that's for our cleaners to come in and they swap it. So there's constantly a rotation of 3 sets.
Okay.
Towels, 2 towels per guest during their stay.
So
wash
like
machine or dryer.
2 towels. Are you doing 2 towels per guest, like when they book it? If the property will hold 8 and there's only 4, are you only putting 8 towels out? Or are you having 16 towels out the whole time?
No, I'm trying to have 10 to 12 towels out. The
Okay.
goal is that they will wash and dry their towels while they're there. Just like when you're at a hotel, they only leave 2 towels. If it's a king bed and 2 people are sleeping in there, there's 2 towels. 2 hand towels. Now for the washcloths.
Black.
Yep. Dark
Yeah.
colors. Yep.
Yeah, makeup.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Go ahead.
How do y'all choose how to furnish? Like how many beds per room? How many?
that's a good question.
How do you choose how many?
So
occupy?
sometimes
Well, you need to think about parking first. Because if you only have like 2 spots for parking, you can't host 10 people. Like it just isn't feasible, right?
This one has
yeah,
a
that's
long.
true.
This
But
one has a
people will
long
still come in.
driveway.
Okay.
Well, I say long for the Azalea district.
Yeah.
I feel like it's long, and it goes to a garage, and then
Okay.
there's street. So
Okay. Is there free parking on the street? Okay.
Okay, this is a question to me that depends on what you're projecting your nightly rate to be, because sometimes that correlates with how many people can stay there. You don't want. So one of our lake houses initially, it'll hold 10 people. It's it's like 1,600. It's like 15 or 1,600 square foot house, but it's got a bunk room that's got 2 bunks and a full size bed in there. So it'll hold 10 people comfortably. We had 10 people stay there a few times. When 10 people are in a house, stuff tends to get torn up. So we brought it down to 8. And our nightly rate ranges on that property from about $120 to about $240 a night. And that's through, have you heard of Price Labs?
yes, somebody said that when I.
It's variable pricing, and you absolutely want to set this up. It'll maximize your occupancy if you set it right. Because there are times if you don't have something booked tomorrow, it'll drop your price to the lowest. You want to stay booked.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
That's the key. And then there are times where somebody will book 6 months out where they'll pay $240 a night because they want to make sure that they get the property. Yeah. So it depends. How many bedrooms is it?
So in the front, it's 2-2.
Okay.
And then in the back, it goes around into separate, and it's a 1-1.
Are you going to rent them separately?
I think it would do
Yes.
separately.
Is there enough parking to
Yes.
separate?
Yes.
Is there enough space outdoors to feel like it's separated?
Your own, yes, because the 1-1's in the back, and it goes to the backyard, and there's a deck and whatever else in the front. It's a front entrance. Like if you go in the front and you don't know that there's anything in the back, you don't know there's anything in the back.
Okay, so this is a great point.
Yeah, it
is that multiple properties on one or multiple doors on one location maximizes your dollars.
Yes.
You got 2 units now
Yes.
instead of 1, and you paid for 1.
Yes.
Now you got things that are split, like your electricity, your lawn care, your internet. You can run an antenna or run a cord out there for your internet. all those expenses, monthly expenses, are somewhat shared
Mhm.
between the 2 units. And you purchase 2 for 1. That's really good, really good. That's why duplexes, like nice duplexes, work so well on
Mhm.
Airbnb, because you got one structure with 2 doors. You're splitting cost.
Mhm.
Okay, so are the rooms big enough for a king size bed?
Yes.
Okay. What we have begun to lean towards is even if one person is booking, they want to sleep in a king size bed.
Mhm.
If it's 4 people, they want to sleep in a king size bed.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
I would, and you could, like for your 2-2, I would do a king and then maybe a pull-out couch. So you can say that you have 6, and it brings in, you can charge a little bit more for that. Where if it was just a 2-2, where 4 people could stay, and that's a nice district. But what you need to do is get on Price Labs, and it can also give you the breakdowns of what other people are charging in that area. But maybe for the 2-2, you're looking at, I'm just guessing here, your range is going to be between 160 and 280 a night.
That's what I looked up just scrolling.
Okay. And then your 1-1 is going to run from $100 a night to 190 a night.
Mhm.
So that's going to be your Price Labs numbers, or close, based on what the numbers are. So having that extra 2 people that can stay there, if 2 couples book, great, they each got a bed. But if 2 couples book and one of them has kids,
Mhm.
you can still house them, and
Yes.
it still works. All right. What's your
Insurance.
insurance? Okay, this
Gotcha.
is a good question. If you're in the short-term rental game, put in the comments what you use for short-term insurance, because there are not a whole lot of products out there that specifically insure for short-term.
I haven't caught up with the times.
No,
It
like
takes
I quoted one, and it didn't like if somebody stole something, it didn't cover that.
Okay, so
Or if
that's
it-
where Airbnb will cover you, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Am
Yeah,
I
you're
right?
good.
Okay.
You got to fight sometimes to get stuff covered,
True.
and you got to prove it. But Airbnb is okay at their resolution process. They're better when you make Superhost, which you should
Yeah.
in 3 months. But
So that's a quarterly thing.
Okay.
So January 1, April 1, September 1.
yeah, and you're
whatever
reevaluated.
they are.
You're
Yeah.
reevaluated every time. You have
every
to
3 months they reevaluate.
You have to maintain like a 90% response rate within an hour, I think, and then 4.8 ratings. So ratings are very important.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can give you our messaging where it asks for those things, and where you're kind of walking people through, hey, thanks for booking, blah, 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 for
Automate.
as much as you can.
Is there
Yeah.
a separate system that sends automation, like the Mattison's, the check messages, the check-in messages?
There is. There's
and
a
stuff
bunch
like
of them
that?
out there.
Okay.
We have not automated that far yet. You can automate those messages through Airbnb.
Okay.
So we have just used those, and it's worked pretty
Good.
well.
Yeah.
And you can also set up like pre-typed out responses for responses that maybe you type all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can set those up, and then you just go in there and click it, and it sends it to the guest. So I've found that messaging, Airbnb's messaging, works pretty well. We will, I'm sure, in the future automate to that degree, but we'll probably, the program that we use might have like other functions as well besides automating messages.
I would find someone in Tyler that can be your handyman, because you're living in Longview,
Mhm.
which is a 45, 55-minute drive, depending
Mhm.
on where you go. And so you're going to have someone say, hey, the AC isn't kicking on, or the sink is not draining. And the longer that you wait, the more frustrated the guests
Mhm.
become. So if you can be proactive in that
Mm-hmm.
and make those calls immediately, they, one, feel valued,
Mm-hmm.
and that's ultimately going to get you the better star.
Absolutely.
What about cleaning crew? Like, do y'all have a cleaning crew for each house? Because I know at first you were trying to do it. So.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not a cleaner.
Cleaning is probably, at this point in our journey, probably the most difficult. We're trying to fix
And it's
that.
not because they aren't good cleaners. That's not the case at all.
It's the management of, well, our first foray into was hard because we just weren't doing a great job on random properties at random times. And now it's a different story. It's really hard to manage multiple properties. So
Yep.
I would,
We've hired a cleaning crew. like a cleaning company. The thing is like also with the cleaning industry, they have not caught up with the short-term rental. So they want to come in and they want to like quote you at coming in either weekly or biweekly to clean your property.
It's not the same.
It is not the same. Nowhere near the same. And so, for instance, if your 1-1 doesn't have a wash machine or dryer, they're going to need to either depend on the 2-2 to do laundry.
Oh, that's a good question. Do you have a washing machine dryer in the 1-1?
Yes.
Oh,
Sweet.
perfect.
You
That's
are
awesome.
I mean, like you've knocked it out of the park. The Lord has been merciful to you on your first property.
Yeah,
I can say
good.
that for sure.
That's good.
Yeah. So then that doesn't even pose a problem for you. So it just needs to be they have time to come in, do a full sweep of everything, make sure.
At any random time.
Any random time. And that's the other thing is because, and just this past week, we've had more changes in either extending a stay or changing their checkout date. And that throws a whole kink in everything because it's a cleaning company, so we're not the only people they clean for. So she's branched off and kind of created a prototype for us because it is so random. And it might be that she has a cleaner that's more than willing to drive because I know some of her cleaners live in Gilmer, which is not terribly far from Tyler. So we could pass that information on to you as well.
With me just having one, it's different than y'all's.
It is.
Multiple.
Yeah. And you would think it's typical, like I check out on Sunday. It's not always. It is not always. I would say there is no rhyme or reason.
So what we've been doing is absolutely unnecessary as far as like the scheduling and changing the dates and how we've done that with our cleaning company.
Absolutely.
So my brother is the systems guy. He's just dove into this, and he actually has a property in Phoenix with another business partner that they operate as an Airbnb. And this guy's been using this program called Turnover B&B. Basically, it ties to your Airbnb calendar, schedules the cleaners, will send them notifications. Also, you can put your payment information in there for that property. We have different properties, so we would do different cards, but you could put your payment information in there, and when they do go through the checklist that you supply for them and check everything off, then they get paid. So that's what we're switching to. And then that will automate our calendar so that if there is a day that changes, then it will change on the cleaner's calendar. So that right now Courtney's going in and she's changing the date, and then they change and they change the date.
Yes.
And then she's going in and paying each invoice separately, putting the credit card number in there. And we may have
we have 4 different cards, but 8 different properties.
Right.
The thing is, though, is that all of that can be simplified. We just have to find
the right way to do it.
Yes, the system. And so we're working on that. We're both trudging through. She's very patient with me. I'm very patient with her.
It's a good relationship.
It has to be, because otherwise it gets really frustrating when it's 1 o'clock and you're like for instance, I forgot to change one of the checkout days and it's 1 o'clock and I'm like, holy cannoli, we have somebody come in at 3. I didn't change it. And then it just like, it just is not good for me. So.
Yeah. We'll put a link to Turnover B&B in the comments. Hopefully we can get a referral thing from them. I don't know.
Okay. I
would like to get paid if we refer companies, but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. We haven't even used them, so we don't
I know. Like you're giving them a plug.
So
you don't even know what they offer.
Do your research. This is me saying do your research, and we might get paid like $5 if you sign up for it. So
$5 is a lot of money to some people.
Hey. Yeah, okay. Insurance. We never really answered your question. So we've kind of just made it through. We have different
some friends that are insurance agents.
We have different insurance on different properties. I don't think, on half of our properties, we may be covered fully for short-term rental, and on the other half, we may not be. But that's probably something that we'll work on turning over to a company that actually handles short-term rental. Yes, so I do have one that my buddy Obi sent me. That I'll probably call and get a quote for just all our properties, and we'll put that in the notes. He probably only works in Texas, so if you're outside of Texas, you may be out of luck. But there are companies that specialize in short-term rental insurance. They're just hard to find. You're right.
Okay. Have you reached out to the city of Tyler to see if there's any ordinances?
No.
Are there other Airbnbs in the Azalea? Okay, you're good.
You're good.
You're good.
Yeah.
I looked at that before because, I mean, you never know.
You
And
never know.
No, you
Yep.
don't.
You have to be
Especially
quiet
with
about it or not.
I know. Well, and your neighbors will not be quiet about it.
Mm-mm.
We have found that in
No,
several
our
places.
neighbors haven't been bad.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying they're not quiet about it.
No, there's some neighbors that may not like it, and there's some neighbors that are like, this is great. And it just depends on
Yeah.
who the person is.
Yeah.
And the neighbors who would complain about it would typically complain about anything.
Whether the sun comes up or not.
Right. So,
Sky is blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You
what
mentioned
else?
another question
Okay.
before we started. You said insurance. Do you have any more questions?
I think cleaning was one of them.
Cleaning.
And
So do you
decorating.
have a connection?
Not
Who's
entirely.
cleaning the Airbnbs over there right now?
I don't know. I'll have to research and see
Okay.
if
Yeah.
I know.
This is one you have to get creative on. And it's a lot easier to manage when you have two. You'll have two.
Mm-hmm. This
Um,
one might be too much for this, but is it beneficial to switch it over to an LLC quickly, or because I
Okay,
can't,
good question.
I can't
What's it
close
in right
in that.
now?
My name.
Okay.
I can't close in that, but eventually I want to keep growing them.
Yeah.
So when
When do you switch over to an
Yeah.
LLC? That's a good question.
Mm.
And I think
and it might be too much right now.
Do you
That's
have an
fine, but
LLC
Yeah.
already?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'd set one up just for this.
Okay.
that's fine. The only thing that I would have a question about is if that affects the bank loan. I don't think
I asked, and they said I could deed it over to whatever I wanted to
Okay,
after
perfect.
I
After the
close.
close.
Like a quick
just
deed
can't-
because
mhm.
you've already done all your
Okay.
closing
Mhm.
stuff and you know it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're ready to do that, then do it because an LLC will protect you from somebody getting your personal stuff.
I assume taxes and stuff are different, or is it?
Now, is this going to be considered your primary residence?
Ish.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
I know, who knows?
Yeah.
It may end up being.
Yeah.
Okay.
'cause I can move in the 1-1 easy.
For
So
sure.
taxes,
For
you
sure.
get a homestead exemption in Texas if it's your
Mhm.
primary residence. Your taxes will be more if you switch
But in
it
the
over
long
to-
run, it's not going to matter if it's my homestead or not. If I keep growing them, I'm not going to
Right.
do that for every
Right.
house I buy.
Doesn't
You're
matter.
right. You can't get hung up on
No.
those little things
No.
because it's real easy
No.
to do that.
Taxes, do not get hung up on taxes.
One
I would
thing
say,
with Airbnb, if you do decide to go with that platform, is they pull the taxes out for you
Oh, that is good.
and they pay them, so you don't have to do anything with the taxes on Airbnb. Now, Vrbo, I believe you do have to pay. We
yeah,
only have one property that's
we
listed
don't do
on
much in Vrbo.
Not at all. Yep, not
We
at
don't
We
all.
get
all
very
are
many
mainly-
bookings.
Or mainly Airbnb.
Yeah, we're actually working on a direct booking site right now
For all of your
for
properties.
all of the properties. Yes, and that's just because of where I feel that Airbnb is going based on some of the changes recently. They're starting to favor the guest more than the host,
Mhm.
which to me makes absolutely. Now I'm the host, right? But we've stayed in a lot of Airbnbs. The host is the one that takes all the risk.
Absolutely.
You buy a $300,000 property, whatever it is, you decorate it, and then you say, hey, people, come stay here. I've got a lot of money in this thing. And if you tear it up, we'll deal with it
Enjoy
then.
your stay.
Yeah, enjoy your
That's
stay. Glad to-
exactly it.
Hey, glad to have you.
That's
Can
exactly
you tore up, your dog tore up a couch. Can you give us a 5-star review?
Oh gosh,
Mhm.
are you?
So,
I don't. Pets.
yeah, pets
Oh,
are
yeah.
Pets
interesting.
needs to be another
Pet-
conversation.
Pets are
for sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
And then, but Airbnb is kind of starting to gear towards supporting the guests more than the host. And so that just is kind of a nudge to say, hey, get your own website and start getting your own bookings. You want to be able to capture people's, at least their email address, so that you can say, hey, we're running a $99 a night January. Book up. Love to have you again. And if we don't ever capture that
Do you
information,
get the email address from when they book on Airbnb? I know
Okay,
You get the phone number.
you get the phone number and the email address, but that disappears after they stay with you.
Oh, okay.
Airbnb's smart.
Okay.
So we can't go back and get the ones from the however many guests we've had before. So write these down for now. Put them in a database somewhere. Now, you don't want to just sign people up.
No.
Email them and say, is it
Yeah.
okay if we sign you up whenever you get to that point?
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have a backup. If we rely on Airbnb totally, I watched this guy on YouTube, and they've shut his account down before. And he this guy has hundreds of properties and he has, different accounts, but maybe 50 or 80 per account. We shut him down for, a week.
Why?
I think it may have something to do with like payment stuff or some kind of fraud. They thought there was some fraud or something going on. I don't know.
Okay.
But he might have lost 50 grand in revenue.
Okay.
So protect yourself. It's not bad to be on Verbo too, just in case something like that happens. We're just not at the moment.
Yeah.
Except for one property.
Yeah. That's true. Pets.
We'll
close on pets.
Yeah, we got like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, we're going to close on pets.
What do you think about pets?
It's a toss-up.
Okay.
No matter what.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I have a dog, so if I can't bring it,
What kind of dog do you have?
a bordoodle. It's a border collie and a poodle.
What?
So
how
doesn't
cute.
shed.
No, it doesn't shed.
Okay,
Right.
that's
one thing.
But you can't specify that.
yeah. You
Oh
can.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You can
Oh,
accept
yeah.
or say, hey, no, you have a pet policy that says you get to decide. The only thing you don't get to decide on is a true service animal, not an emotional support animal.
Right. There's a
But
difference.
I know, but how do you just require their paperwork?
You can ask them for
You
it.
can, I don't know all the details. If it's a service
Maybe
animal,
you can ask them for it. I don't know.
if it's a true service animal, I think you might be able to ask. If you guys need to read all
do
the
your
details.
due diligence there, yeah.
If it's like a CNI dog or like something like truly service animal, then you have no choice. Those are free.
Mhm.
Also, you can't charge for those. An emotional support animal, you can still decline them.
So okay.
If it's a
So
150-pound Great Dane and this is my emotional support animal,
Or-
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you can't ask them specifically what they, like if they are a service animal, but you can ask them what training that they have put the animal through
Okay.
in order to be their service animal.
Mhm.
They don't have to divulge that information, but that is a workaround of how some people have figured out, like, okay, is this a Vietnam vet and needs an animal
Mhm.
as like their service? Or is it someone who
Doesn't want to leave their dog at home.
because in reality, we charge $100 pet fee, non-refundable per
That's
dog.
That's going up.
Okay. So we charge a non-refundable fee per pet maximum.
No, you can't charge per pet unless
Okay.
you do it after they book.
Okay.
The way Airbnb works is you have your pet fee in there. Say it's $100.
Mhm.
So when they book, they click the pets. It's $100. That's it.
Okay. But we have a 2-pet max.
A 2-pet max. Now you can you can do it however you want to. You can say, hey, it's $100 per pet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have to charge them after they book.
Okay.
Or you can say, hey, it's $10 per pet per day with a minimum of $75. Whatever. You can do it however you want to. But if you get complicated in those weeds, then you have to charge them after they book.
Okay.
Have a clear
reality-
and defined pet policy. And we
Yes.
can help you with that.
The reality of it is when you break it down, it is a lot cheaper for someone to bring their pet with them to us for $100
Mhm.
or $150, whatever the pet fee is, than for them to board them
Mhm.
for a week. Also, people are taking their pets with them.
More.
They're part of their family.
You'll get more bookings.
You will get more
And,
bookings. And I don't know if it's Airbnb's
I'm rolling my eyes here.
without their algorithm of like if you accept pets, then they bump you up. There's a lot of theories out there people have about it.
You are bumped. Well, when somebody search pet friendly, only pet friendly ones come up, right?
Mhm.
So I'm rolling my eyes here when it comes to pets because this is such a big issue with us. We have a dog and we love to take him everywhere. He's an awesome animal and he's very well behaved.
He's my emotional support.
Yeah,
He really is.
he's very well behaved.
Yeah.
But
He
I wanna,
also doesn't shed.
No, he doesn't shed.
Yeah.
He doesn't get on furniture.
Yeah.
He's not going to poop in the house.
Yeah.
So
But you can't expect everybody's dog
They're
to be
Right,
not
okay,
trained
so
or
here's my
like
point
yours.
about-
You're right.
I do
Everybody has
not
that
want it to
respect
be
either.
more convenient and less money for them to bring a pet to the Airbnb. I don't want them to bring their pet because it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to bring their pet because they want to be with their pet or their pet wants to be with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not because, it's only $100 here and it'll cost me $200 to board them. I'm just going to take them.
Yeah.
And old Rowdy here is running around the house
You-
peeing on stuff.
You would think that way, though. That's how your mind would work if you were the guest.
You're right. So
Mhm.
do we need to change our fees to where it's more than they would pay to board the dog?
I don't know. It's a good question, because if someone is truly that invested in bringing the dog, there's not a dollar amount that they don't
worry
care
about the money.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. They don't
Yeah.
care. See, these are all kinks that we're having to work out as well, because we have had pets. One, we say no pets on the furniture. Well, then there's like rat terrier hair, or like coarse, thick hair that's just hard to get out of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So then it takes our cleaners an extra amount of time, because you don't want
Which is
another
part of
guest
what you
coming in.
charge extra for, is those possibilities.
Mhm.
But in our pet policy, it says no pets on furniture, and no, if your dog sheds, can't even be on the rugs.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get some pet fur out of rugs.
It is.
It is. So all of that to say, pets are a toss-up. Some of our properties we allow them, and some of them
Most
we
of
don't.
them we do. We almost lost an 8-day booking at like $160
That was like
a night.
$2,000 booking.
Yeah, it was on up there.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody that didn't, the one property that we have that doesn't allow pets, they
Yep.
didn't read the pet policy.
Yep.
And so after the fact, they said, oh, I'm not coming if my pet can't come. And it was a big dilemma with our family. It's like, this is a new property. We need
Yeah.
the revenue.
Yep.
But we said no pets.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally stood our ground and said, okay, sorry, would love to have you, but the pet can't come. And so they said, well, I'm not going to be able to come. And they said, okay. Well, our cancellation policy, if you're canceling within like
A couple
7 days.
days.
14 days, then it's only 50% refund. That's another thing that most people don't read the
They don't
listings
read
or
the
the
fine print, yeah.
instructions. So she said, oh, due to the cancellation policy, I'm still going to come. We'll figure out other arrangements for our pets. So it's like, you have to have a
It is a
policy.
toss-up.
You really, and we go back and forth, but you really need to have policies, and you
Yeah,
need to stick to
with
them.
That's true.
So if your policies is to have pet, have a good pet policy and stick with it.
Mhm.
If you say that no pets over 40 pounds can come unless they're hypoallergenic,
Mhm.
no pets on furniture, no pets on rugs if they shed. If your pet pees or poops in the house, clean it up. If it stinks and we have to do extra work to clean it
Yeah.
up, then we have to charge you for it.
Yeah,
If it
Another
tears
side to-
furniture up, you have to pay for it.
that's true. Another side to that coin is we've had guests say our child is highly allergic to ABC.
Mhm.
Has there ever been ABC in the property, whether it's the dander or the fur,
Yeah.
whatever it is that they're
That's only
allergic to?
happened twice.
But I'm just saying that's another side to the coin of
Yeah.
pets, is that
Yeah.
you have
There's
Yes,
there's
to-
people out there that won't stay because pets have
you're
stayed there.
right.
But that's very small
Yeah.
percentage versus the percentage of
That
people that want to
bringing
bring
theirs.
their pets.
They do.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to bring their pet.
Mm-hmm.
We also have cameras, ring cameras outside the
Outside.
property. Yes.
You need cameras.
You need
That's
cameras.
what's going to be one of my other questions.
Yes. Yep. You always need
Do you
cameras.
have like AC set up to Wi-Fi and
Ecobee.
Yeah.
Ecobee.
like off?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's automated, so you can
Your
control
door
it.
locks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are Wi-Fi.
Mhm.
We can set you up on all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, keep all communication. I can't push this enough. All communication on the platform of Airbnb. If someone says, "Hey, can you call me?" or "Hey, can you text me?" No, it's a no. Everything is right here on Airbnb, because Airbnb will not back you up.
If
on,
it's not
Or
there.
them, or your guest. If you're a guest, keep it on Airbnb.
Yep.
I had a guy call me the other day, and he said, hey, I'm coming to a wedding. The reservation was not made in my name. It was by my ex-girlfriend,
Oh wow.
but
Okay.
it's my credit card.
Yikes.
Do I need to change it? And I was like, man, it's going to be a lot of, you're going to have to cancel that one, and then you're going to have to rebook. It's going to be a pain. So I said, how's your relationship with your ex-girlfriend? He said, it's actually fine. I was like, okay.
Are they both coming?
No,
Okay.
just him and his new girlfriend.
Oh, babe, this sounds like a
I know. And I'm talking to
disaster.
this guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but
Okay.
so I said, okay, typically you don't accept like reservations that are not in their name.
Okay.
So I said, hey, just tell your ex to.
Because that's considered a third-party booking, and
Right.
Airbnb does not.
Well, they will now. They have
Oh,
specific people
okay.
that can book for workers. And
Oh,
it'll
but
say
it's
in
a
there.
different category.
Right.
Okay.
So I just said, hey, have her get on there and message me on the platform and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. Is it okay if this
Oh, that's
person
good.
is in charge of it, comes and uses my reservation as in charge of the property?
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So it's documented.
Okay. So she did that.
She did that.
Okay.
So good to go.
Yeah. Yikes! I'd hate to be the ex-girlfriend.
It's like,
Let me cancel this wedding so you can take your new girlfriend.
Yeah, or the new girlfriend.
Oh my.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
word.
oh, you had this plan with your ex.
Yeah. Oh my
I think it's his daughter getting married.
Oh, that takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, or maybe his niece or something.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So closing on that.
Yeah, we got to close out.
Yeah,
Courtney's got to take kid to camp. Oh, you better hurry.
I know. I've gotten 3 phone calls and a text message.
Okay, from your daughter.
Boys too.
Okay, all right. Appreciate y'all being here, Mattison.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thanks
so
for
much.
the
Yes.
questions.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
really good. Like
it is
taking you back to like
so
what
we
systems
would
need to
you
be
be willing
created.
to come back after like you've been 2 months in?
Yeah.
And like give
Okay.
us a follow up of
Yeah.
how. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, appreciate you guys being here. If you would like, share, subscribe, there's links in the description for products that we use, different things. If you are interested in using some of the same things, same items on our properties, how we run our properties, all that's in there. There's other stuff in there too that's helpful. Remember, love God, love others, and let everything you do reflect that. We'll catch you on the next one.